Annabella. One evening, the Fat Controller called his engines to a meeting at Tidmouth Sheds. Ladies, gentlemen, and engines. As you all know, plans have been made for a theme park to be built on Sodor. I'm pleased to say that construction will begin tomorrow. The engines were excited. Where is it going to be? Asked Percy. As you all know, Harold has been helping Mr. Jolly to find a location, and he's decided to build it in the north-east of Sodor, near the seaside town of Balliswain. Balliswain? Wondered James. We don't have any tracks running there, do we? That's why it's being built there, explained Sir Topham Hatt. It'll be out of the way of the residents of the island, which means the building supplies will be delivered to the site by road. The engines were furious. Quiet! Shouted the Fat Controller. The theme park has a tight deadline to be completed in time for summer. The job will take twice as long if we have to build a standard gauge branch line to the site. It makes more sense to deliver the supplies to Vickerstown and then transport them by road. However, with help from the Earl of Sodor, we are building a special railway line between the park and Harwick to transport passengers to the park and to Balliswain. What kind of special railway? Asked Thomas. Wait and see, he replied. One last thing. Vickerstown will be very busy with these extra trains, so Vickerstown is going to need a pilot engine for some time. A diesel shunter is on his way, but until then, Thomas, you will shunt at Vickerstown. Lady and Percy will look after your branch line until you get back. Yes, sir, said Thomas. The next day, Thomas travelled all the way to the other side of the island. When he arrived, he saw the old shunting yard was a hive of activity. Large diesels from the other railway had already bought the building supplies for the Pack Construction Company to make the foundations. A couple of cranes had been set up to transfer the goods to the lorries. One of them was a nice ballast tractor called Nelson. He was owned by the construction company, and he was very busy transporting the pack members and equipment to the site. But I'm afraid not all of the lorries were so kind. While he was shunting trucks, Thomas met 3 large lorries. They were very rude to him. What's that steaming lump of scrap iron doing here? Be off with ya! Scrap iron? Steaming scrap iron? Pah! Cried out Thomas, and he went back to work. A little later, Thomas was back in the yard when he saw another lorry. Oh, look! It's a little blue imp on wheels. You'll be scrapped. Just you wait and see. Well, bust my boiler, what a horrid lorry! Exclaimed Thomas as the lorry drove away. Bless me, said a voice. What rudeness! Thomas looked to see the Fat Controller in the yard beside him. Those 3 are all the same, sir. They hate steam engines, and say you should scrap us and replace us all with lorries. Of course that'll never happen, said Sir Topham Hatt. I wish I could send them away, but we need them to build the site. But you have my word. They'll leave as soon as their job is done. Thank you, sir, said Thomas sadly. You look like you could do with some cheering up. I've got a job for you, Thomas. I'd like you to pick up a special delivery from the Earl's estate and take it to the works. Thomas was glad to escape from the yard and set off right away. The Earl's estate is on the Ballyhoo branch line, with its own sidings and platform. When Thomas arrived, he saw Kelly the crane, helping the workmen to load 4 flatbed trucks. One was loaded with metal rails and framework, 2 were loaded with 4 funny-looking coaches, and one had what looked like a tender with no wheels. Is this the special railway Sir Tom Hatt was talking about? He thought to himself. Then he saw Sir Robert Normanby walking towards him with a small tractor. It was towing a small trailer with something on it. What's going on? Thomas asked Kelly. The Earl's found something on his estate that used to belong to his father. He's given it to Sir Topham Hatt to use in Balliswain, But before Thomas could ask more, the tractor stopped alongside Kelly, and his crane arm was attached to the load on the trailer. "Thomas!" cried out the air in excitement. "Meet Annabella!" Kelly then lifted the object into the air, and Thomas saw the strangest engine he'd ever seen. It looked like a locomotive with 2 boilers, 2 funnels, and 2 fireboxes, side by side with each other, and it had no wheels. "Hello," said the face on the left side. "I'm Anna, and this is my sister, Bella. And together, you can call us Annabella," said the other face. Thomas was amazed. "I've never seen an engine like you before." "I'm not surprised," said the Earl of Sodor. "My father brought them from Ireland. It was an experimental monorail system he saved from scrap. He wanted to set it up around the estate, but he passed away before it could be done, and they've been in storage until we've discovered them." He then turned to Annabella. "If I knew you two were in a shed at the bottom of my estate grounds, I would have had restored you sooner." "We understand," said Anna. "Your father would be proud you're finishing his work," said Bella. Soon Annabella was loaded onto the flatbed truck, and Thomas coupled up to the front of the train. He then set off for the works. On the way, Annabella told Thomas about their old line in Ireland. "You two are monorail engines?" "Yes, me and my sister were designed for crossing deserts. We were part of the first monorails in the world," explained Bella. "Don't be boring," said Anna. "I want to know more about our new friend and their line." Thomas was more than pleased to tell them about the railway. They were having so much fun talking to each other that they didn't realize they had arrived at the works. Thomas shunted them and the other trucks into the sheds. Workmen wanted to set to work straight away to restore the unusual engines. "I'll come back when you're restored," said Thomas, "and I'll see if Sir Topham Hatt will let me take you on a tour of the island before you go to your new home." "That would be wonderful," said both Anna and Bella together. So Thomas left to go back to work, pleased to have made a new friend in Annabella.